Ready, aim, fire.
What's up guys, how's it going? Welcome to this Gamer Tech review. Now in this review, we're going to be taking a look at the awesome BitFenix case called the Neos. I just want to say a big thank you to Gab from BitFenix and also Overclockers UK for sending me the case, so thanks guys, you are awesome. Now I will say now, I love this case. Like for the price point it's at, what you get for your money, how it looks, everything, it's just awesome. But you will understand this as we get into the review. Now, when you look to buy the case, there are a few different options that it comes with. One of them is how many fans you get, and one of them is whether you get a side panel with a window or not. Now with this one, I actually got the one with just the back fan in there. However, I have also got two 120mm Spectre Pro fans, as you can see there, and these fans are gorgeous. And the other thing I got is, of course, a windowed side panel. And there it is. Now, with all this stuff together, you're going to see how beautiful this case can really look. I'm also going to be building a full system into this case, so you'll be able to see how it looks with high-end graphics card, beautiful motherboard, and everything you could think of. So, without further ado, let's see if there's any handy information on the box, and then get inside to check out the case. On the front side of the box, we don't really have any extra information about the case apart from what the name is, so let's move on to the next side. Here we have all the important specifications about the case, so what size motherboards it can take, how many fans you can get in it, etc, etc. On the back side, you've got some detailed images of the inside of the case with the case panels off and on, and also like an example of the side panel window on there as well. And then on the back side, you have the color information and also whether it includes a window or not. Now with this case, there is a huge amount of different color combinations ranging from black, red, blue, white, anything, lots and lots of different colors. And with that, the box is done, so let's just get inside and look at the case. Now this here is the case, and I must admit it is very pretty. Like, I'm absolutely in love with this thing. I think it looks great. Now I opted for the white outside with the red grille here, as you can see. We do have a nice little BitFenix logo on the front there too. Now you do realize it has got two 5.25-inch bays at the top here, so it's not a huge amount of bays, but to be fair, nowadays you don't really have a huge amount of usage for space like this. You'd either use it for reservoirs, which in this case is a tiny bit too small really for a custom water cooling loop, optical bays, or also fan controls. Now with this one, I'm going to be putting in both an optical bay and also a fan controller, so we'll see how it looks with those in. You can also just about make out close up that you have got two slots for fans on the front here. Now with the options that you can get this case in, you can either get it with two fans at the front or just the one in the back. Now I do have two fans which I'm going to be fitting on the front of this case as well, so it'll be nice to see how it looks with those fans too. And they are white LED fans as well, which I'm quite looking forward to see how they behave under this red mesh. Now if we spin it around to the side, we can see that we have the back of it. Now it's a beautiful, nice clear white. It's very smooth. There's a very nice even finish on the paint coat, which is lovely. On the back of the case now, when we have a little look, a nice little close-up, we can see this is a nice open space here, which our motherboard is going to go into. This is the fan here. It's just a standard black fan, no LEDs, nothing special. Then we have got our slots here for our motherboard. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 there in total, along with our spot at the bottom here for the PSU to go. Now a couple of cool features on the back bit here is that if we take this off, this is a nice cover for all of the screws that hold in your PCI slot. So first of all, this will make everything just look a nice bit tidier on the back. And the other thing with this is that these covers here for PCI, they're actually molded into the metal. So this has just been stamped, so these get pushed out whenever you want to put one in. Now this does have benefits and it does have downside here. A benefit of that is, well, I'm guessing it's going to keep costs down because it's all one piece and it just gets stamped out. However, a bad thing of it is say you have a graphics card in here like I have had before, and then you don't want to use these slots anymore, you can't cover them back up with what you've got, which is just a bit of a shame. However, it does include some things in the box with it, which is quite handy. But we'll get into that a little bit later on. Like this one here is one of the ones that came into the box, which I've used as a blanking plate for this top gap here, which is quite handy to have. Then if we quickly clip this cover back into place, also you'll notice that you have got toolless thumb screws on for both the front panel and also the back panel, which make it so easy to take the panels on and off, which I love about this case. There's also a couple of other really cool handy toolless features, which you will notice in this case, and I will show you later. Moving it around, I'm gonna first of all show you the top of it. So on the top we do have a few extra things. So we have got our headphone jack, our microphone jack, USB 2, USB 3, and also our power on and restart. Now the thing I love about this is that it's not like a long pushy in soft button. You just press it and it just like, there's probably about 1/2 mil of travel. Oh, I just think this overall is such a nice feature to have. And then quickly taking a little look at the bottom of the case, we've got 4 feet which it stands on, which raises it off the floor, and they're actually quite deep compared to other cases which I've seen. And you've also got this nice grill here, which makes sure that all of your air going through to your PSU is free of dust. So it catches it, you can take this out, you can clean it, and it just kind of adds longevity to your PSU because it's got this option here. It is lovely. Now looking at the case back on its side again, it would be so much better if we had a window panel, and by magic, there we have it. It looks so much better with a side panel on. And one of the great things I love about this side panel is, first of all, the window is huge. It's so big so people can see what PSU you've got, they can see what motherboard you've got, they can see so many details inside the case. However, they've also blocked off all of the 5.25 and the hard drive bays as well, so you can't see any of that, and that is usually where all of the tanglement of cables goes, and it's not very pretty, to be honest. It's just not a nice kind of area to look at, and that means you can hide a lot of your cable management behind these cages, which is a lovely feature. Now when I take this front section off here, which is literally just unclips because you've got 6 bits that hold it on, and put it to the side, you'll see that I have got a nice fan grill here. So if I just quickly unclip and remove it, our fans, which are going to go in the front, they're going to mount on the back side of this. So it means that when I'm sucking air in, these dust filters will catch all of the dust particles that will come into the case, which will keep everything a lot cleaner. Also, if we take a little note at the front of this, we have got some soundproofing fabric here, and also dust catching stuff too. So this is going to severely reduce the noise we're going to hear from it. As you can see, we've also got some of that sound reduction stuff up here in the 2 bays. These both will be coming out, but it's nice that they're there anyway, because if we were using these, or we weren't using these drive bays, then that would help keep the sound down. So all in all, it's got a ton of little features which all will help to keep the sound down being produced from this case. And this here is the inside of the case, and it is so pretty. I love it when they paint the insides of the case and it just comes out looking this good. Now, one of the great things about this case as well is the amount of toolless accessories that it comes with. Now, I've already shown you the toolless screws on the back here. However, the hard drive bays as well, they are great. So we've got space for 3.5-inch hard drives, and the way that these work, this is my favorite of any toolless drive I've ever seen, is it just pulls apart like this. You see on the back there, you've got these 3 pins, they just pull apart, you pop your hard drive in, and then you close it up, and then it holds it in place. So it's such a clever, easy design. I love that. I think that is absolutely fantastic. So big points there for BitFenix on that one there. You also have 3 specifically made spaces for SSDs. Now, unfortunately, these aren't toolless. You have 4 screw slots, both on the sides and also 4 on the bottom. So depending on how you prefer to mount your SSD, and you can put those in there. The drive bays up here, they're also toolless. In order to use those, you just give it a nice little twist, pull it off, and then that's the feature there. And then you pop your drive in, and then line it up with the holes, twist that, and then that'll keep it on place. And it's only the one side you've got these as well. You don't have them on the back side there, it's just on the front. Then we've got our front panel cables. They all come down inside here. Now, I've routed mine straight into this hole around the back because they're gonna go straight into the motherboard here, which is quite handy. So we've got our USB 3, all of our power switches, audio, USB, all of that jazz. And that's essentially it for the inside of the case. It just looks great. I love it. It's really nice here. This is just like a few bags of instructions and some screws and cable ties and things like that. But I find it quite handy just to leave them in the original places where they came into the case, which is great. So for now, let's just start fitting everything into it, getting the drives in, the motherboard, the cooler, absolutely everything, and then see how it looks. So what are my overall thoughts on this case? Well, as you know, I'm in love with it. I think it's awesome. It looks great. It's extremely functional, and it's just, it's so pretty. Like, I love the fact that it's all white sprayed inside as well. It's, well, actually, I think the first case I've ever had which has been painted inside as well as out, so it gets big marks for that. One of the things, probably the only kind of downsides I can think of the case is, one, there isn't a huge amount of space in the back for cable management. It's got quite a shallow motherboard tray, and because it is just a flat panel on the back, you haven't got a huge amount of space for cable management. So when I put the panel on there, I did have to push it down really hard and squish it in to get the cables in there all nice and tight. And to be fair, there's 4 hard drives in there, which need SATA and power. You've got a DVD writer at the top there with Blu-ray stuff. Then you've got all the power cables and all that kind of stuff. So there is a fair amount of cabling behind the board itself. Having flat cables definitely does help. So my CPU power, that is a flat cable, and that kind of definitely aided in the whole getting all the cables in there. So that's one of the bugbears I've got with this case. The other problem that I've got with it is behind the CPU, you've got that little cutout square. So it means that you can attach and detach CPU coolers easily without having to take the whole motherboard off. So if you just want to do a quick upgrade, things like that. With this case though, for some reason that square is either not big enough or it's not in the right place. For this motherboard anyway, which takes an 1150 processor, essentially the hole for it finishes, like say like this is the square for the hole. Some of the connectors are here, the screws you have to get to, but then the other screws are here behind the metal. So I mounted the motherboard, I then realised this, I then took it out, mounted the back of the CPU cooler onto the motherboard, and then screwed it in. So you have to kind of mess about with it a little bit, and it can get a little bit fiddly, but if I knew that beforehand, it wouldn't have been a pain. It was just, no, the screws don't line up. That kind of sucks. So that's the other bugbear I've got. But apart from that, I love it. I'm absolutely smitten with this case. I think it's fantastic. The color combinations, you can get any combination you want. It's amazing. The fact that you can choose to have it with fans, without fans, and what fans you have in it, it's great. And the other great thing about this case, cost-wise, 30 quid. Like, legit, £30 for the case. Now if someone said to me a case for £30, I wouldn't really expect a huge amount, but this, that's amazing. Like 30 quid for everything you get, for how good it looks, everything. It's amazing. Like the prices do go up from £30, so depending on what color combinations you want, whether you want a windowed side panel or not, whether you want fans with it or not, so you do get different combinations there, and the price will go up with those, but still not a huge amount. And also the great thing about this is because you get in the case and say you want to get your own fans for it, you don't have to spend money on fans which you're not going to use, because you can whack them out and then put your own fans in. So it saves you money. You get a fantastic case that's functional. Only a couple of bugbears, but now you know about those, and you know how to kind of handle them in the future. So yeah, I love this case. I'm going to give this case a 9 out of 10. Purely on the fact that it hasn't got a huge amount of room for cable management at the end there. But yeah, I love it. This is now my personal PC case. I'm going to enjoy taking it to LANs and showing it off. This is definitely a show rig for me. It's absolutely gorgeous. I love it. And as for me, that's the review over. So I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've learned a few things or two. And yeah, I hope you love this case as much as I do, because it is so pretty. Now, if you didn't know already, I stream a lot on Twitch pretty much every single day. I stream Titanfall, League of Legends, Hearthstone, CSGO, and a variety of other things, including tons of different game types in Gmod, which are a laugh. So head over to the Twitch, which is just /thegamertech, and I'll see you over there in the future. Stay fresh, guys.